We had some technical difficulties. A little bit of technical difficulties. A little bit of technical difficulties going on, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are live. Yes, we are live. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Happy. What's it today? Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Sorry about that. Sometimes the days become a little bit of a blur, ladies and gentlemen. You know how it is. Sometimes. You know what I mean? It'd be like that on occasion. Huh? No, sometimes the days become a bit of a blur. It happens. Happens from time to time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just make sure we are live everywhere. All right, we're live. John Turner says here bright and early, looking at all the charts as we speak. Good morning. He says he's doing. How you doing, brother man? He says great. What about yourself? I'm doing good. It says facts. Same here. Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, buddy. How you doing, man? We are just chilling right now, getting everything set up. But yes, we are getting everything all set. Hope you're doing well, John. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. It is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful day. He says, glad to hear you're doing great. Yeah, man. Of course, always. Yeesh. Had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier, but we doing good. We here. It's a wonderful day, regardless. Ladies and gentlemen, on Twitter, we apologize that we are unable to stream on Twitter. A little bit of technical difficulties there, but we will be back at it again. Do not worry. Do not worry. But for now, we are gonna. The show must go on. You know what I mean? It must go on. Yes, 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 yes. So that's what we got going on there. Yeah. All right. So we are getting everything set up. Mm-hmm. All right. Just getting everything shared. Let's get a share party going, everybody. Let's get a share party going. Let's share everything up. Let's share it up. Yeah, share with everybody. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see here. Mm, all right there. Got that going on. Boom, right there. Okay. Got everything set there. Let's get everything set up on the YouTubes. Yes, there we go. All right. All right. Let's put this up here. Boom, right there. All right. Do we have everything live on the Twitch? Yes, we do. Everything is live on the Twitch. Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, we could try to do a spaces for Twitter. Let me see. Let me see. All right, let me see if I can put my phone on the charger. And let's see if we could do some spaces. Let's see. Let's see if we could do a Twitter spaces. Let's see if we could do it. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so that way the people can at least hear us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hold on one second, ladies and gents. Start a space. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Hang on one second, ladies and gentlemen. right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Just some technical difficulties going on. Some technical difficulties. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. We got that going on right there. No worries, ladies and gents. We will be back at it again. Do not worry on the Twitter. All right. So, for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy what we got here. We got YouTube and Twitch up. We will be posting on X as necessary. Of course, of course. All right. Get everything posted up here. Boom. And yeah, no worries, ladies and gentlemen. No worries. Yeesh. Okay. So, we got everything getting set up here. All right, we're good. All right, let's get this intro started. What's up, guys? It's Double Nix, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nix in the house, aka the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around in the tall weeds and the high trees and the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Other times she likes to get shot out the cannon and she goes wee. She likes to go to Arby's, sometimes even Wendy's, and watch videos of puppies and kitties. And sometimes you throw her in the stock market. She finds some ABCDs. After all, she did find FGNX HIND SQFT and SPRC. We call her DBL Moms. Hey! Yeesh. So that's pretty much it for us there. All right. So that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on. So let's get ourselves started here. Let's get everything started up. All right. And let's see what goes on here. Let's see what goes on. All right. So we got a couple of stonks here that we called. And before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. All right. So let's take a look at some of the stonks that we have been calling throughout the past day. We called FGNX 249%. 249%, SPRC 240%. Did a video on that one last night. HIND 171%. And of course, oh, hang on one second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. HIND 171%. We did SQFT 148%. And then we got a couple of runners over here. We got IPM for 96%, CWD 59%, SBLX did a video on that one today. That was 77%, and MSPR 65%, and CISS 55%. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on over here. Okay. So, right now, we are taking a look at all the stonks that came in. Oh, hold on. We got all this news over here as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a good day. Let's get right into it. All right. So, we got here couple of stonks. Let's see what we got moving. What we got moving? We got IPM. IPM seems to be moving right now. Had a nice little ABCD pattern over here. Little bit of an ABCD. So A to B, B to C, C to D. shot up over there, went back down a little bit, and then after that made this pennant right over here. So right now it has a bit of a pennant going on over here. It is a bit below the VWAP, so we got that going on right there. Has to break through the $3.01 setting right there. All right, let's get the support and resistance lines up over here. Bop, right there. Okay, so we got that going on. And let's see here. We got the setting for the support line is at $1.88, 233. That is the current support line. 268 actually is the current support line. And then you got resistance at 293, 318, 349, and 398. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. And currently has to break through 301, which is where the VWAP is. It's not overbought or oversold as of now on the VWAP, but it was a bit overbought and oversold earlier in the day. So you got that going on right over here. But not overbought or oversold as of now. Let's check out the news for it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check out the news. Let's check out some news on to see if it's got any news. As of now, IPM has a 6 million float, 40 million volume. So the float is good. The volume is even better. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. That is what we got going on right there. Hold on. Let's see. IPM currently up 42%. So you got that going on. And it's got news right here that IP Intelligent Protection Management entered a reseller agreement with MindsDB, right? So they got that going on right there. And they also became a starter Minds customer and intend to integrate MindsDB technology into their own operations for greater workflow efficiency. So yeah, that's what they got going on so far. That is what they got going on. So right now, they currently have formed a bit of a pennant over here, and we shall see what moves, man. We shall see what happens here. But right now, a little bit consolidated. Needs to break this pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. So what else we got over here? We'll see. CWD. CWD. Let's check it out. Let's check out CWD. CWD is on a bit of an uptrend right now. A little bit of an uptrend. Choppy one, though. Very choppy. So let's see what we got going on over here with CWD. CWD has a 686,000 float. Volume is 17 million. So we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at the movements over here. Bop right over here. All right. All right. Very, very choppy. Very choppy. Very low volume, so it is a bit volatile, ladies and gentlemen. But it is popping up. It's going down. It's doing all sorts of volatile stuff. I personally don't trust this stock. But it is above the VWAP right now, so you got that going on for it. But it's got to really hold above this trend line for it to really be so much mexy to me. But it's very choppy. And right now, I mean, it has a bottom tail, but not the biggest fan. FGNX seems to have moved up in the meantime. FGNX. All right. FGNX currently shot up a nice boom right here, boom right there, and boom right there. So, yeah, FGNX did its thing over here. So it shot up and then proceeded to fall below the VWAP right now. But it does have a 186% run. Currently, right now, it's currently up with 186%, trying to curl potentially, but it has to break through that VWAP. But it did have a nice run up 249%, 249%. So you got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. You got that going on right there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this stunk. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. Just had to get a drink of water. Had to get a drink of water. A little agua. You know what I mean? A little agua. All right. So FGNX did have a shot up of 249%, 249. So you got that going on right there. And of course, had a bit of a pennant formed right over here. Currently, the stock is below the VWAP. Was a bit overbought on the RSI earlier today. Let's take a look at the Hold on. Right there. All right, let's take a look over there. All right, let's bring this down here. Okay, so it's got support at 660, has to break through the 1055 mark. Then after that, has to break through 1364, then 1567, 1547 over here, 1582, 1799, and then of course 2069 and 2504. That's what you got going on right there. Let's take a look at AKTX. AKTX, because that one just came in a little bit. Let's see what we got going on over here. Little bit choppy, not a lot of volume on the stonk. AKTX has some float, has a heavy float of 21 million. Volume is 608,000. Not feeling this one. If it has a top tail as well, not feeling it. Not feeling it. Let's check out HIND. HIND. All right, HIND. Let's see what we got going on here. What we got? All right, let's see here. What we got? All right, let's see. We got HIND bop right here, here, and here. Currently, HIND is up 70%. No known float for the stonk yet, but the volume is 9 million. So we got that going on right there. We got that going out. You already know, ladies and gentlemen. You already know. But yeah, we got that going on right there. So, yeesh. All right. So, that's what we got going on there. That is what we got going on. Okay. All right. So, while we are here, we got the pennant that it has formed. It shot up, went up a nice 171%, came back down, fell below the VWAP. Has to break the VWAP for it to really be so much Mexi Tumya. VWAP is at 1171. This is currently 1009. So let's get some levels over here. Let's get some levels. Let's see what we got going on over here. Bop and bop right there. Okay, so we got support at... Oh, actually, let me bring it down to... Yeah. And then bring this up over. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Bring this over. Yeah. There we go. All right. So we got support at 605. And the primary support line is at 872 as of now. Primary resistance is at 1082. Has to break that 1082 mark for it to really be so much Mexi Tumya. Has to break the VWAP at 1170, then break through 1229, 1376, 1558, and then 1853 for it to really be so much Mexi to me. That rhymed, huh? All right. Anyways, let's continue on. Let's move on. Let's see what we got going on here. The 90 MA, by the way, is a little far away and far below the VWAP, so we got that going on. Needs to break the VWAP, needs to break that VWAP for it to really be so much Mexi Tumya. But let's see what else we got. Let's see. CWD. Let's go back to CWD for a sec. Let's see what they got going on. Currently, CWD has a bit of a curl off that uptrend, but again, had to went down a little bit. So right now, it formed a bit of a pennant over here. Has to break this tiny pennant. It is converging a bit with the VWAP. The 90 MA and the VWAP are currently converging a little bit. So can it break through? Maybe. We'll see what happens right there. But right now, forming a bit of a green candle. Can it curl? Has to break through this pennant for it to really be so much Mexi Tumya. But let's get this support and resistance line going on over here. Right here. All right. Bop. Right there. All right. Actually, matter of fact, bring it over here. There we go. So we got support at 590, 724, and 822. That is the primary support line over here. Has to break resistance at 892, 961, 1047, and 1185. VWAP is at 949, so it's got to break through there as well. But right now, it fell below the VWAP, broke below the pennant. Not looking too schmexy, ladies and gentlemen. Not looking too schmexy. Pennant is no longer valid. We'll see what happens over here. Has to break through this descending wedge for it to really be so much schmexy to me. But So not feeling the stock right now. Not feeling it. CWD is was a bit overbought in the RSI earlier today, but not overbought as of now. So let's see about news for CWD. What's CWD got going on? what does it got going on? Let me see. Let's take a look at the news. Let's take a look-see on CWD. All right, so Caliber shares are trading higher after the company closed a 15.9 million sale of perpetual convertible preferred stock and activated an ATM equity program to support its digital asset treasury strategy. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Yeesh. And that is what's going on with the stonk here. So CWD did have some news there, but it went up nicely, but not so much right now. It fell below the VWAP, so not feeling that one. Not feeling that one. Let's see what else we got over here. SQFT. Let's see what we got going on here. SQFT. All right, so SQFT. Let's make this a bit smaller. Bop right there. All right, let's get some support over here. Resistance over here. All right. Make this a bit tinier. There we go. All right. So this stonk had a nice move upward right here. So it went up there. A, B, C, D. All right. Had a bit of a pennant. All right. And went downward. It is currently below the VWAP, so it is a bit of a descending wedge. We got that going on. And John Turner says, yeah, CWD could be going down, judging from the MACD. Yeah, I agree, John. I agree. CWD went down from the MACD. That's what's going on right there. So that's what we got going on. Let's get a share party going. Let's share this thing up. Let's share it up. Did have a bit of a double top over here as well with SQFT. So SQFT, hold on. Let me zoom in the room a little bit. Bop right there. All right. There and right there. Had a bit of a double top forming at the 1877 mark, so has to hold above the 526 mark. Breakthrough 846, needs to break through 1097, 1274, 1450, 1668, and 2021, ladies and gentlemen, for it to really be so much messy to me. Has to also break through the VWAP at 1294. But that's what we got going on for this stock. That's what we got going on so far. And ladies and gentlemen, if you like the stream, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. Remember to share. Ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. Share with your mom. Share with your dad. Yeesh. What's up? The 4-day trial. Yes, don't forget the 4-day trial, ladies and gentlemen. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes. All right, so we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right, boom. Let me make sure that gets put up, or yeah, speaking of which, bop right there. All right, boom, and of course, and that, and boom. There we go over here. There we go. All right. So currently, SQFT had an ABCD pattern, hit a double top, went back down below the VWAP, and is currently needs to break this descending wedge for it to really be so much mexy to mya. So we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Let's continue onward. We got over here FGNX, low volume, but the float is 5 million. So the float is 8.68 thousand. Volume is 5 million. So we got that going on right there. John Turner says, what does float and volume mean, and what is the significance of both? Well, yes, float is the available amounts of the stock, and then volume is the demand, as in like how many shares are being traded at this time. So it's basically a matter of supply and demand. The float being the supply, the demand being the volume. So that's what you really got going on right there. And you guys can actually learn more about that by checking out our course, which, yeah, I could actually link that down here as well, because, yeah, we got a course, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a course. Yeesh. We do have a course. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got a course there. All right. yeah, we do have a course there. So if anybody wants to learn some stuff, you check out the course, ladies and gentlemen. Check out that course over here. Link to join is in the description down below. Yes. Yes. Boom. All right. All right. There we go. Our courses, links to join those courses are over here, ladies and gentlemen. So you can check out our courses by going over Mya. And yeah, you should be able to get the course for that. And the course basically gives you the market movers over here, which shows our scanners, our hyperlinks, all that cool stuff. You get access to the news, you get access to all that cool stuff. Plus, to top it off, you get access to even more charts and basically some our courses, in case for beginning traders as well as traders that just want to learn the lingo and other things like that. So we do have an educational course. You can check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on right there. Let's see about FGNX. FGNX still below the VWAP. Needs to break that pennant for it to really be somewhat schmexy to Mya. Let's see what else we got. Let's go back to SPRC. Again, SPRC had a bit of a move over here. So went from here, had a tiny ABCD, made a bit of a pennant around here, bop right there. All right. Then proceeded to curl its way on upward, bop right there. And then boom, made up another pennant right below the VWAP, but it did shoot above the VWAP before. SPRC had a nice high of 240%. We did a video on it, by the way, last night. So it had that going on. For a video is on YouTube. Link to be sure to check that out, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check out our videos by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Ringing that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? Ring that bell. Ring it, because guess what? That is how you can stay notified when new videos are uploaded. Yes, CDT seems to be moving as well. So SPRC needs to break that pennant. Let's check out CDT in the meantime. CDT, let's see what we got going on over here. CDT has a bit of an ABCD pattern and a bit of a double top just by looking at it. So you got an A to B, B to C, C to D. All right, and a bit of a pennant forming right here, but it also has a bit of a double top going on right over Mya. So it has to hold, it has to break through that double top at a 105 for it to really be so much schmexy to Mya. But it did have a shot upward at 63%. So we got that going on right there. Let's see, does the CDT have any news? Let's see if it has any news. CDT, does it have any news? Let's see. All right, so CDT Equity announces a strategic purchase of 8.65 Bitcoin for $1 million at an average price of $115,285 per Bitcoin. So you got that going on right there. And they actually executed a cryptocurrency treasury reserve strategy. So they got that going on as well. So that's what we got going on right there. Yes. So we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on right there. A little bit of a double top going on. Needs to break that double top for it to really be so much schmexy to Mya. Has to also break above the pennant right here. So it needs to break above that double top. But it was a bit overbought on the RSI over here, as you can see here. Well, a little bit overbought. Went below the overbought area, then went back up over the overbought area. So right now, it's probably trying to compensate for being overbought. So you got that going on right there. So, yes. That's what we got going on. Let's see what else we got going on over here. What else we got? All right. Let's see. All right. So we got Pally moving up a little bit. Let's see what they got going on. Pally is a 9 million float stock, moving on low volume. The volume is 2 million. So it's got that going on right there. Shot upward. right there. Had a bit of a price spike going on, but it has a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails, DBL moms. We like the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. We do. We like them bottom tails. But right now, the stock is currently falling down below the VWAP. Not feeling it right now. Man. Had a nice 30% run, but what have you done for me lately, PALI? What have you done for me lately? Right now, that one right there, man. Let's see what we got going on. What else we got? All right, so FGNX. In the meantime, all right, that stonk seems to have somewhat broken the pennant, but I'm gonna kind of extend it over here. Boom, got that going on right there. So FGNX has a pennant right here. It needs to break that pennant for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya, but it has to break above 1055, hold at 660, and break above 1055 for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya. So it has a ways to go. Because it also has to break through that VWAP at 1539. So we'll see what goes on there. But FGNX currently has an 868,000 in float. Volume is 5 million, so the volume is higher than the float, but we have to see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We would have to see what happens. All right, let's continue on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue on. So, what else we got? What else we got over here? SPRC. Let's go back to it. Let's see what we got going on with SPRC. SPRC has to break the pennant and has to break that above that VWAP right there for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya. Let me get some support and resistance lines on it and see if SPRC has any news. Does SPRC have news? It probably does. Let's see. It does. Okay. All right. It had some news. So let's see. Had some news last night and this morning, but it's the same news there. So SPRC trades are trading higher after Automax Motors filed a motion into Jerusalem District Court in contradiction with its merger in connection, not contradiction, connection with its merger with the company. Very small text, so it's like trying to read it there. It's like very far away. Yeesh. And we did a video on SPRC last night. Ran up a nice 240% on the news. Now, and it was a bit overbought and oversold. A little bit overbought over here on the RSI as well as over here on the RSI, but now it's not overbought or oversold. It was leaning towards being oversold at this point, but then it curled back up. Started not being overbought or oversold again, and you got that going on right there. SPRC currently had a high of 240. Can it break through? We'll see what happens. Currently, though, the stock has to stay above 377, break through 437, and eventually has to break through 495 for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya. HIND. All right. This stock still has a bit of a panic going on right here. Has to break above the VWAP. Has to break above that VWAP for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya. So, had a bit of a shot upward here and then started consolidating below the VWAP over here at 1188. So has to hold above 872. Needs to break. Has to hold above that. Needs to break through 1082 for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya. 10 then has to break through the VWAP at 1188, 1229, 1376, 1558, and then eventually 1853. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at CDT. CDT. Let's continue seeing what that's doing right there. CDT. Let's refresh. Go on right there. All right. Let's see what we got going on. So, CDT currently has to break above that double top at 105. Has to break above that double top for it to really be so much Mexi to Mya. But right now, we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. We shall see. All right. Let's see. All right. So, we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Yes. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Just had to take care of something real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Just had to take care of something real quick. Hang on 1 second, ladies and gents. Hang on just a second. We'll be right back. right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. All right. So we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on. John, hello, brother, man. It says thanks. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm sorry I didn't get to your comment earlier. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. CDT currently trying to test that double top. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. Let's see what we got. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got going on right there. Boom, right there. Okay, that's schmexy. All right. So right now, CDT seems to be trying to test that double top over there at 105. Now it's forming a bit of a doji. So, we'll see what goes on. TNMG seems to be moving. Let's take a look at TNMG. TNMG just had a shot upward there, ladies and gents. Had a shot upward. Had a bit of an A to B, B to C, C to D. Right there. Bing, A, B, C, D. Bop, right there. So we got that going on. That's what we got going on right there. So A, B, C, D. That's what we got. All right. So currently it is moving upward. TNMG moving upward nicely, but now it seems to be moving back down. TNMG has a 20 million float, which is very, very heavy. Volume is 3 million. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. So we got that going on right there. So boom and boom right there. That's what it's got going on right there. Has to break that pennant, but right now it looks like it's falling below it. It ran up to a high of 87%, but now it's not really doing so well, not doing so hot, not interested. It's going up, but then it's going back down. So this pennant is no longer valid. Has to hold above this area right over meow for it to be so much mexy to meow. But right now, not feeling it. Heavy float, low volume, not looking schmexy. HIND. Let's take a look at HIND in the meantime. We got HIND over here. All right, let me get that there. Bop. All right. So HIND currently has to break this pennant and also has to break above the 1082 mark for it to really be so much mexy to nya. So that 9 EMA has to start curling and hitting that VWAP for it to really be so much mexy to nya. But right now it's And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's be sure to check out that 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join is in the description down below as well as the pinned comments section. So be sure to check that out. Because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, folks, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So that's what we got going on there. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. All right. So right now with this stunk, currently it is moving and grooving right now. So, yes. Well, this stock right here, not really. It's not really moving and grooving. But the stock market was moving and grooving. Again, we did have some calls that we did do this morning for our private Discord. Link to join us in the description down below for that. We called FGNX, which ran up a nice 249%. We called SPRC for our private Discord, and then afterwards made a video for it last night, and it ran up a nice 240%. After that, we got HIND 171%, SQFT 148%, and that's what we had there. John Turner says CDT looking good. All right, let's take a look at CDT. Let's see what CDT's got going on. CDT, ooh, broke through the high. Broke that high. Looking schmexy. Thanks for keeping me on notice there, John. I love it. All right. CDT did hit a new high over here at $1.12. $1.12. CDT curled up, broke through that double top over there. It looked like it was going to earlier, and it did. Had a bit of a doji over here, and then proceeded to curl its way on up. Now is on an uptrend. CDT up 73%. Can it break to new highs? Has to hold above 101, break through 112 for it to really be so much mexi to mya. And that's what we got going on. Let's see what we got here. What do we got? Currently up. just broke through the high a little bit over there, peaked above it, now up $1.13. That's what it hit. So that is the new high. Has to hold above 101, break through 113 for it to really be so much Mexi Tumia. Has a bit of a top tail. We don't like them top tails, but we got the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails. John Turner says, yes, sir, I was going to buy in, but I'm going to be patient. Yeah. Always pays to be patient. Patient. Aha. See? PAYTINT. That's what we got there. Always pays to be patient. Especially in the stock market. Especially in the stock market, in my opinion. But that's what we got going on. All right. So, we're doing our thing here, ladies and gentlemen. We are chilling like villains. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for me. Gotta take care of some stuff. You know what I mean? Gotta take care of some stuff. Make sure the live streams are working. And John Turner says, I'm gonna use that. Yeah, man, use it, dude. Yeah, of course. And, oh, hold on. CDT is curling up. Let me stick around a little longer. Here. RELI up 24%. Has a float of 4 million, volume of 1 million. So, not feeling that one. But let's keep an eye on CDT in the meantime. CDT still testing that high and breaking up to new highs. It did hit $1.14. Can it break through that 114 mark? We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, it is currently moving and grooving. All right. CDT up $1.14. That's what it hit. That was the high. Oh, let's make sure that I hope it doesn't hit a double top over here. It's forming a bit of a double top at the $1.11 mark. Has to break the $1.11 for it to really be so much Mexi Tumia. Has to also hold above this VWAP right here. Otherwise, not feeling schmexy. Looks like it could potentially be forming a head and shoulders. Maybe. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, it hit a nice high of 80. I think it was either 84 or 85% right there. So it's got that going on right there. Has to break above that $1.11 mark for it to really be so much schmexy Tumia. Otherwise, it's just not something that's schmexy Tumia. So we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on. All right. So, ladies and gents, that's pretty much it for me. I gotta do some stuff, check on some of the technical difficulties that were happening earlier. But, ladies and gentlemen, we should have everything all set and fixed up and ready to go very, very soon. So, ladies and gents, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. So, that is what we have going on today, ladies and gentlemen. Much love. Take care of yourselves. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We have a couple of stonks here that we have called. We called FGNX for our private community, which ran up a nice 249%. SPRC, did a video on it last night, but before that we called that for our private pre-market Discord as well. Private Discord, that one was up 240%. HIND 171%. Called SQFT as well, 148%. And then we called a couple of runners. IPM ran up a nice 96%. CWD ran up a nice 59%. SBLX, did a video on that earlier today, ran up 77%. MSPR, that one ran up 65%. And CISS, that one ran up 55%, ladies and gentlemen. John Turner says, have a good one. You too, brother. You too. You take care of yourself. You have a wonderful day, brother. And take care of yourself, man. Take care. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, much love. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys probably very soon. We might be doing the live stream for the newest beautiful series that we have going on. It is called Power Plays. It takes place probably an hour before Power Hour. It basically goes over two things: the plays that we are currently taking a look at, by that time, taking a look at some stuff. You know what I mean? We look at some stonks. They play some Fortnite. Coach looks at some stonks, plays some Fortnite. We normally just hang around, have a good old time with everybody, and spend time with the community. You know how we do. So be sure to check that out. That normally happens around 12:30 p.m. Central Time, 1:30 Eastern Time. So we got that going on right there. So you got that going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's that. Be sure to check that out. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, again, link to join us in the description down below. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. Now, ladies and gentlemen, also be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel at Coach Nick Money, right there. You can find us doing live streams, videos, shorts, all sorts of cool stuff, stock reviews, everything on that YouTube channel. You can find us on X.com, aka Twitter, where we do lots of live streams, do lots of stock reviews and other things there as well. At Coach Nick Money, Be sure to give us a follow there and follow us on Twitter there as well. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coach Nick Money, at Coach Nick Money, where we do all sorts of stock reviews there as well. So you can follow us over there. Be sure to check us out on Twitch. Give us a follow there as well at Coach Nick Money. At Coach Nick Money, we do a lot of live streams there. And be sure to check us out on TikTok, Tiki Taki, aka the Tack right there. That is at DBL Nicks, at DBL NICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. So we got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. Much love. Take care of yourselves. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. Might be doing a test stream to see if things are working and see if I can iron out those little technical difficulties. And